Welcome to the season finale of Storytime with Grandma Coyote. Today we have special guests Mike and Dora Menchaca. Storytime is brought to you by American Indians in Texas of the Spanish Colonial Missions, in part with the City of San Antonio Department of Arts and Culture, and the Texas Commission of the Arts.
Good afternoon and welcome to Season 4, Storytime with Grandma Coyote. As always, my name is Manuel Davila, joined with Grandma Ortega of the Lipan Apache tribe, of course. This is the last episode of our installment for this season, and because it's such a special episode, we wanted to invite some very special guests with us. So today we have with us here Mr. Mike and Dora Menchaca, the Menchaca family, some of our favorite stoneworkers in San Antonio, preservationists, and thank you all so much for being here with us today.
Well, thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us.
Absolutely. We've been wanting to do this with you guys for a hot minute already, so it's finally here.
Thank you. And not only that, good friends.
Oh,
Good
absolutely.
friends. Really good friends. Yeah.
Good community to
And
have.
you all always make us feel very welcome.
It's so easy with you guys. Y'all make us feel like family. Today's episode is really interesting, and the reason y'all came to mind is because today's theme is stones and rocks and the stories that they carry, and the reason that we go search for stones. I myself am a stoneworker. I work with ochre. I have my work here. Grandma Emma is always decked out in really great jewelry. Everyone always knows her for that. And then, of course, you folks always come in wearing the best and beautiful turquoise that we've ever seen and silver work. And we always get super jealous when you walk in. But we're always super grateful because you also share everything you learn on your trips with us. And I really wanted to just hear about y'all's trips and how y'all came to be stone people.
Yeah, it took like thousands of miles of traveling all over the U.S., just to visit places and, find places that had, stuff that we were interested in, right? So basically, it started off in North Carolina. And we were in the Appalachian Mountains in Cherokee. And you're just surrounded by beauty up there, whether it be the landscape or whether it be the streams or ponds and stuff.
The waterfalls.
One thing leads to another, right? We went to a mine, and we started getting interested in stones and stuff, and there at the museum, all that they had. So that's where the interest started growing.
And we also did gold panning.
Yeah.
Oh,
We've gone gold panning. We've gone
Diamond
mining.
Yeah, diamond.
So we've done several things in our travels that we've been on.
and y'all made the family part of it too, right? Because the
Yes.
kids have always, y'all's children have always been part of finding the stones, working with the stones, doing it their own way.
Exactly. And throwing stones.
Well, the very first stone that I found was in Arkansas, near in Murfreesboro, by the Crater of Diamonds. And Mikey and my son Mikey and Melissa had just had their son, and I found a little piece of turquoise, and it was encrusted, with all what it's covered with, the sediment all over it. And I took that piece, cleaned it up and everything for him, and gave it to them, when he was a very young.
Newborn.
A newborn. And that's the very first work of stone that I ever did.
What a lovely story. And so much meaning that you've put into that stone,
Protection for, to use it for so many different, for healing. I wear turquoise because it makes me feel like I'm carrying a piece of Mother Earth with me and something that the Creator put together. And I feel that He put it there for us to use it. And I have people come up to me and they ask me, can I touch your stones? And I say, yes, absolutely. You're free to touch whichever stone you like. I feel that they get something out of that, whether it be a blessing, whether it be protection, whether it be healing. it attracts it to them, and I love it. I love when people come up to me and ask me if they can touch my jewelry. And of course, it helps that my husband also makes it. Right? He cuts the stones and everything.
And for me, it's like a little bit more personal, right? This one was given to me by my daughter, Catherine Menchaca. And then she called me and told me one day, Dad, there's a bracelet that you've been looking for that looks to be big enough to go around your big wrist. So I went and it fit and I bought it, right? This one was one of the rings that I bought in Cherokee, North Carolina. And I bought this. This was just a whim for myself. You know, it had the Great Spirit on there, so I bought that one. This other one was given to me by Angela and Joseph, my daughter and son-in-law. And that was very special. They went on they got, encouraged to get into the jewelry stuff as well, and that's how that started. So this other one, Dora was wearing it. She saw me eyeing it, and she shared it with me. So now this one is so special, not because it's diamond, but simply because it's an inheritance from my father-in-law.
So this ring here was a gift from my daughter, Catherine Menchaca. And these are 2 rings that Mike made.
And this turtle is a symbol of Turtle Island. And we purchased this one in Truth or Consequences, New Mexico. Yeah.
We also believe that turquoise is a growing stone. It never stops growing.
Yeah.
And listening to where all what you're wearing has come from, and who had it before, what, that's another way of growing.
Yeah.
Exactly.
The family is passing it on, like you making the very first one for your grandbaby, and then inheriting that ring. And so the stories just keep going, so they're growing. It never stops growing.
Exactly.
And I didn't mention, I failed to mention, this actually goes to my son, Mikey Menchaca, because this is a part of the inheritance that it gets handed down to my son. So
You got to put that tradition into place, right?
yes, you have to.
And that's one reason I really love stones, because of course everyone loves diamonds, right? Like that's the
Right,
ones everyone remembers, right? But so many other special stones, carry just as much value to them, right?
Exactly.
And it's valuable because it's special to you because you've put that memory or that timestamp to those.
Exactly.
In our yard, in our front, my dad was a continental truck driver for 24 years. And so my dad, whenever he'd go on his travels, he'd always bring me back rocks from different states. And of course I always loved crystals. But one year he went to Michigan and he brought back a whole bunch of rocks that had a bunch of holes in them.
Yeah.
Yes.
And he painted them all orange because he looked like cheese to him. And so in our yard, you still see these yellow stones that look like cheese in them. And we laugh about them, like me and my brothers, because we're like, remember when Dad made us paint these dinky rocks orange and cheese? And like my nephews and nieces who don't know that story, they have their own stories about how these cheese rocks appeared in our yard.
Yeah.
And it's really cool to think of like, they've made up their own legends and their own stories to these things.
Exactly.
And
they're
like,
memories.
Absolutely.
They're memories that you're going to repeat and repeat and you're going to reminisce on, and so forth, because as you get older, the stories just get, told more often and more often.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know that. I know that. So.
Yeah. So on the table here, we have quite a bit of your work, which is very artistic and everything. I love that.
Thank you.
Yeah. And we also have finds that we have found in North Carolina and Arizona. We have some turquoise there from the cobalt processing plant in Arizona.
Mm-hmm.
And just a variety of other stones, obsidian and, quartz and lapis and some from other regions. We even have a coral piece there, and it's just been so much fun to find all these things in our travels.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Tell them about how the stone that you found at the antique store in Uvalde.
Oh yeah, we
You have this one with the crystal.
I used to watch a show Cash and Treasure, something along that lines. And they would, on this particular show, she found a piece of turquoise. So the turquoise, of course, it doesn't, come out shiny from the ground, so it's encrusted. So we're in Uvalde one day at an antique store. And I saw that stone and I said, oh my goodness, that's what I saw on the show. So immediately, I make the purchase. And of course, I had this bracelet made for her, from the stone. I cut the pieces out and then took them to the jeweler because I wasn't working with stones to that extent yet. So they put it together.
So you
with
found
the stone that I found.
Wow, at a thrift store.
Yeah, at a thrift store.
And
all because I watched the show.
Learning in every way, right?
I would not have known that was actually, what it was unless I had seen the show.
Yeah.
So.
And what a great, the thought of that stone was meant for you to find it then.
Yeah.
Right? Like, anybody could have picked up that stone in that store anytime, right?
Exactly.
But it waited for you.
Know. Yes, when you know, you know. I mean.
Yeah, it's like stones fall into place. They fall into place and they fall into your life.
Absolutely. Just like the right people.
Yeah.
That's true.
There you go.
It's like earlier we were talking about, sometimes you just go walking and all of a sudden you hear somebody, psst, psst, and you're going, some stone or some flower or something is talking to you. And because otherwise, why did I hear that in the middle of nowhere? So you sound like crazy looking
Something
for it.
around here wants my attention.
And sure enough, you end up finding something that it might just be what looks like an ordinary rock, but maybe it's the shape of it or something. So that's why I always say with the stories in that everything has a voice, everything has a feeling to it. And everything knows who it's supposed to go to. Mm. Yeah. And so they're just waiting for you to come by so they can say, well, someday they'll come by here and pick me up.
Pick me up.
and we come home with stones in our
pockets and shoes and backpacks. And why is it so heavy all of a sudden?
I know, we were up in, the last time that I was up in Lincoln Forest, Donovan and I took walks. We would go on the path, and Mom, look! I said, can we take it? Yeah, let's. We had this big old rock coming back, and we were in our car. That was the worst thing.
Oh, you're walking.
Somebody else. What do you have in here? Rocks. Rocks. Donovan's rocks. So, I'm blaming it on him. But I was just looking at some last week, and I hadn't even thought about. I was moving some rocks, and there's one. And it's got some like crystals in them. Yeah. And I had forgotten all about them. There's some big ones in there. Got chunks of this quartz in there. Mm-hmm. And I thought, I got to move this from just before I throw it away, put it over there in the house before I trip on it. So, they're always they're looking for us and we're looking for them.
Absolutely. And turquoise is so symbolic, right? Because in Mesoamerica, the Aztecs and then over here, Native Americans, in the plains, they all have their own special, symbolism for what it means, that not to, dive too deep in it, right? And try to retell their story, but they have their meanings, of the four worlds, and it's connected. The turquoise is connected in that, and the Aztec culture, they had huge stones, of turquoise, and who knows where they are now, but they used to carve it out, and it had a lot of symbolism to them as well, So it's not something new. It's something that's, been around for a very, very long time. Yeah.
Right now, Manny mentioned the rocks from Michigan.
Yeah.
My mother brought rocks from Michigan with holes, and she would plant little cactuses in them, in the holes. So I have one that I have cactus growing out of the holes of those rocks, because I'm from Saginaw, Michigan.
You see,
it's crazy how things just come up, and little do you know that you have something in common.
Yeah.
And then from Mexico, the Aztec said the jade.
Yes.
Oh, the jade is so popular over there. It's big. Their crown, their jewelry, everything was jade, so much.
I have a frog that's a jade. Yes.
I have one necklace that was gifted to me by a real dear friend. She's crossed over now. But she said, no, this will always be for you. I said, well, I'll buy it from you because it's. She said, no, you're not going to buy it. She gave it to me. And every once in a while, I wear that one. Like this. I wore this today in honor of you because you wear so much turquoise. I like turquoise, but I wear it to a very minimum. But I'm going like, no, because Dora's going to be there. I'm going to wear my turquoise. I had to go get it from my nieces because I didn't even have it at the house. And when I put it on this morning, I'm like, oh my God, I didn't even clean it. I didn't even bother to clean it.
You don't have to clean it.
I never clean my jewelry. I'm real bad about that. I never. But thinking about turquoise, how in the Southwest, which is the only place that I know, so popular. So O'Keeffe,
Georgia O'Keeffe.
Georgia O'Keeffe lived there, and she started wearing like the women, the long skirts and the big tops and all the turquoise. Then all her movie star friends and artist friends and all that came to visit with her, they took it back to Hollywood, to Los Angeles, California, and that's how so much of the turquoise got started over there. But it was she the one that started.
To make it popular.
Making it popular. Otherwise, it was just pretty over here in the Southwest.
Well, I felt kind of weird in the beginning because when I started wearing turquoise, I noticed that a lot of people around here didn't wear turquoise, right? And I was like, I would ask my son, I would say, is it too much? And he goes, no, it's never, if you don't think it's too much, it's not too much. And we're in, where was it? We were in a place over there in New Mexico in Window Rock. And I go into Denny's Cafe. And of course over there was nothing but Navajo and Dene, you know. And this old lady, I mean, I think she looked like she was 100 years old, right? And she had a sweater on, you know, she was sweating. It was cold there in Denny's. And she's looking at me, and we're sitting across, and she's looking at me, and I'm looking at her, and she had some turquoise earrings on, right? And right before she's going to leave, she opens up her sweater, picks up her sleeves, and she had like 3 bracelets on one arm. I think the jewelry was heavier than her because she was a tiny little lady. And she looks at me and she goes like this. She nods. I came back and like, I don't have enough jewelry on. But, you know, I thought, okay, I felt kind of, you know, like out of place here. But then I thought, you know what? It makes me happy. And that's all that matters.
Absolutely. It's such a happy stone. Like when you see turquoise, you know that color. And turquoise is so special because not every piece of turquoise is the same. So you can like trace back exactly what mine or like what vein it came to. I think it's very special. Here in the Mission, like we don't have that tradition of wearing turquoise down here in South Texas, right? But what's really interesting is that historically, when we find burials happen at the missions, we'll find natives wearing turquoise. And the only way they could have gotten that turquoise is if they already had trade routes established with the Dene in New Mexico. So that shows that we already had some connection to our cousins, the Dene up there, exchanging, bartering for turquoise and feathers.
And there's turquoise in Mexico as well.
Yeah.
You know,
Mexico,
lapis and everything.
Yeah.
So, you know,
it has traveled.
There were no borders at one time.
Well, really, nobody wanted turquoise. Everybody wanted gold. Everybody wanted diamonds, you know. And to me, it's like, it looks like it's alive. It reminds you of water. It reminds you of the sky, you know. It's just a beautiful color, and it's alive.
It is alive. With the Dene people, Navajo people, they use, to the west, they use the color blue, the turquoise. While the medicine wheel might have different colors, but they use the other colors somewhere else on the other part of the wheel, but they use turquoise to that because it is alive.
It represents life to me. I mean, that's how I feel.
That's me too. Like this, I don't
day.
even remember, but this is an everyday thing. I think it goes on in my hand before I even brush my teeth.
Yeah.
Or anything. It's just automatically I pick it up and put it on. It had broken from here, so for about 2 years I didn't wear it. And I felt lost. I kept looking at it. But everywhere I went to get it repaired, it was too expensive. I didn't have the money to get it repaired. And then one day there was Ron's Jewelers by the house. I said, I'm going to go take a chance and see how much. Well, they looked at it and the guy that worked, their jeweler came and looked at it. He said, I can do that. I said, yeah, but the question is how much? He said, you come in here a lot. And look, I said, yeah, I know the family for a long time. He says, well, how about $50? Oh, yes.
That's a great deal.
I haven't gotten anything from $200 up.
Yes.
Nothing had been, and so far, I'll touch it. Yeah, it's still holding on there. But
That was a very special prize.
Yeah, it was. I knew it was.
Yeah.
But and on this one, I found at a restaurant in Mesilla.
Huh.
You go into the restaurant, and there was a little store there, and it was $17.
Yeah, back
It's
then.
my favorites. These two are my favorite.
Yeah.
But this one here, I got here at La Villita and Chamad's, and it was like $25.
Yeah.
And then I have all the others, but these two are my favorites.
You have your favorites. Yes, I get it. I get it.
This and this, that comes on all the time.
Yeah.
I look at it, when I'm making jewelry and stuff, as a labor of love. Because the time that it takes, if you take a piece like that bracelet, to make a repair on it, just to repair it, you have to take the stones out prior to trying to repair it, because the stones will actually shatter if you heat the silver to rejoin it or whatever. So you actually have to take all the pieces out where it's going to get
all of this was going to come out. All of this was going to come out.
Yeah.
And he explained to me what all was going to be done to it, but they had already explained it to me before. And that's why the high price. And I understood why the price was like it was.
I've never seen you wear this large brooch piece before. That was, that I've never seen you wear before.
I never wear it.
Yeah.
I've had it like forever, never. But I never wear it. But because of Dora.
Of course. You had to bring the good stuff
And
out.
honor them,
Absolutely. I totally
Well,
understand.
Dora can't wear all of her jewelry.
Oh, she'd be
It's
way
just-
down.
No.
She'd need a little wagon to carry it along.
That's the kind of problem I want.
It's a nice problem too.
That's a big problem.
It takes 2 safes at home to be able to keep it all in a safe place.
And each one has its story.
Absolutely.
Each one has its story.
Absolutely.
I love it. I love it.
Wonderful. Going back to some of the stones we have up here, I love that, of course, a lot of them are natural stones. You see the natural obsidians. I've never seen that white obsidian before. That's something completely new to me. I've never seen something that's super rare. But this piece over here with the 3 on it, that's very special and sweet.
Yes.
Because you can tell that you've put that together. Can you tell us the story on that one?
Well, Dora's cousin is a trucker, and he invited me to go to California with him. So I went on that journey with him, to go to California, and Dora said, no, go. She says, get out, and go and explore, So I'm out there and I'm missing her. And, for 6 days, I think I was gone.
6 days.
I never ate while I was out there. I missed her so much. So finally I said, enough is enough. I hopped on a bus and came back. So where the bus was stopping along the way, which the bus stops frequently, I was picking up stones. And I found the heart-shaped one and all the other ones, and I kept them together, and when I got home, it was, a symbolic of the journey I had taken, and how much I missed her, I mean, just to find a heart-shaped, stone like that,
Yeah.
So it was like, it was so special.
That is a very sweet story.
But he didn't eat for 6 days.
For
So
6 days.
He calls me and he tells me, come pick me up over here at at the Greyhound station right there downtown on Broadway. I think it's a Greyhound, right? And he goes, I'm hungry. I said, well, haven't you eaten? He goes, no, I haven't.
The whole experience,
What are you thinking?
the whole 6 days, I didn't even feel hungry. I didn't even feel hungry, you know. I was missing her so bad that I just like.
My brain was somewhere else.
Yeah, the brain was somewhere else. It wasn't in the stomach.
I love that. That's such a beautiful story. Thank you for sharing that with us.
Absolutely.
There's so many things, like as you brought up your collection of stones, like around the table before we started, there were so many stories that came up with it because everyone started trying to identify each one of them. And that's one of my favorite things that I like to do with my nephews and nieces. They'll just look at my rock collection and then they go to the library and start looking up books. So like, this is a tourmaline or this is a tiger's eye.
Yeah.
And so it turns into like a bit of a scavenger hunt for them.
Yeah.
And I feel that I'm imprinting on them. It's like, oh, they're gonna have the love for rocks the way I have a love for stones.
Exactly. And the other day he had a bunch of in our storage. He had a bunch of chests with rocks. And Angela, our other daughter, she had given me a flyer wagon that she wanted Mike to turn into a sink. Then I called her and I said, you know what? I'm cleaning the yard. Are you gonna want the sink, the sink, that flyer, that wagon? And she's like, no, I don't want it. So I said, okay. So I took it apart and I put it in front of the storage and I put all his rocks that he had in the garage. And I said, what's the good of having them in the chest? Let's put them out here so you can see them. So she comes over the other day and she's like, oh, there's my wagon. I'm taking everything in it.
Oh no!
You already said you didn't want that wagon.
She had found so many of those stones
I
herself.
give it up to him. She's like, I think I'll take my wagon now.
And each one of the stones had like if it had been carved into, you know. So, and she found them here, you know, along the San Antonio River.
Oh,
So, you know, it turned into something special, you
And
know,
she
because
found
of
one
it.
that had a hole in it. Like they used
Like
it
drilled?
to, they
drilled.
drilled it with a piece of stick or something. So she's like, oh, I'm going to take the wagon with me now.
Every time we found any kind of stone by the river that had a hole in it, we always brought it home because that's a spirit rock.
Yeah.
Yes.
We refer to them as spirit rocks,
Yeah.
and they're always with us. Spirits are always guarding us, taking care of us, protecting us. So when you find a stone, no matter what size, it's got a hole right through it.
Yeah.
Bring it home.
But I think that the story is too, the round stones that have the hole, they used to use them, especially if the hole is about the right size. They used to use them to sand down the arrow shafts.
Oh, I've heard that. Yeah.
And I think in, where is it? In a town near here, I can't remember the name of it, where we went one time, but not Banarmi. Anyway, there's a museum there, and I saw one. And I knew, you know, immediately by the size and everything else,
How they're
what it
using
could
it.
actually be used for, right?
Uh-huh.
And sure enough, the story came across that that's what it was used for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who
So,
knew?
yeah.
That indigenous wisdom still always in there, right? Like,
Yeah.
I know what that rock's really for. I was like,
I'll take it.
And the painted rocks, like what you paint, those two, those came from North Carolina in the Blue Ridge Mountains. And there was a lady there. She was in her 40s or so, and that's what she was doing, painting rocks and selling them out of her rock shop there, you know. And she had some very,
I
very
love that.
beautiful
That
stuff.
lizard
Yeah,
is so beautiful.
yeah. I think there's one more that you didn't
There's
bring.
a few, but I couldn't bring
Yeah.
everything. I mean, come
Oh,
on.
you need the wagon.
You need the wagon.
So bring them all in.
I have some at home. They're birds.
Yeah.
Different kind of little birds, a red bird, a blue bird. There's a yellow with brown. And they look like they're alive. The
Yeah.
detail work on them.
Yeah.
And those I picked up in New Mexico. Yeah, just as you go into New Mexico, we had been to a market. They said, you got to go to the market. I said, what is it? She said, they closed down the street. And the whole street is going to be the market. And the streets that come into it they block them off. So you can walk for blocks and blocks one way and down the other way. And so it's nothing but shops or anything. It was the neatest thing to go through. I loved it.
I can imagine.
We went to a flea market in Gallup, New Mexico too, and that was huge. And you talk about handcrafted stuff. I mean, that's all that's there. Anything
Well, actually,
from beadwork and everything.
this one is from there.
Yeah.
Lydia Begay.
Yeah.
This is part of her collection. This one right here. And we bought everything she had. I think we bought like
it all.
22 rings. We bought earrings and stuff that we brought with us. But yeah, this is from her.
Yeah, her friend actually that was there selling with her, helping her sell. She said, "Don't worry, you can make more," because we bought it all.
Well, this Larry Moses Begay.
Oh, really?
The
Oh, okay.
LMB.
Well, everybody's a big
Yeah.
fan.
This one is Larry Moses.
Yeah.
And I got the authenticity papers and the whole thing when I was able to get it. But I didn't get this one in New Mexico. I got this one in Fredericksburg.
Yeah.
And for, right
One of
there,
those
there's
days
a-
that we went, that there was a case, a glass case. This was way in the corner.
Yeah.
And I asked her, "How much is that bracelet over there?" And when she gave me the price, I'll take it. Oh, yes, I took it right away.
Right away. Now turquoise is so popular that, oh my God, everything's so
And the cost of
expensive.
silver is so much more expensive now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We go to a place there in Albuquerque, and it's a huge building, and they have different sections. Like they'll have from 50 to 100, from 300 to 500. And then it goes into the thousands, like from the pieces, like from 5,000 to so much. Oh my God. I went in there. I want it all. I want it all.
I'm moving in. Right to the showroom.
Yeah, in Gallup you can go like Anasazi's and stuff. They have a shop there where all the natives come in and they actually produce jewelry all day long. And then it gets sold. And we used to buy some
We have a
wholesale.
few pieces from there.
Yeah, we
too.
have some. Yeah, but they really have artisans there that are experts in their craft.
Yes.
Yeah, you see their pieces and wow, it's really breathtaking. To see how much work and detail went into it. So. We don't try and copy anything like that because I'm not gonna pretend at my age that I can catch up to some of that now.
But you do good work too.
You do wonderful work. We love it around here. Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for your time today. I've enjoyed this conversation so much. I really love anytime when y'all ever come visit us here at AIT. And y'all are some of our favorite volunteers here at the Nation. We love whenever y'all come hang out with us here. Even today's conversation, we're all like, how do we make sure we stay good on time? I was like, oh, don't worry. We and the Menchacas can talk for hours. Hours and hours and hours. So this should be no problem.
In the parking lot, in the office, you name it,
We got
can do
stories
it.
to share.
We got stories.
Thank you for having us.
Oh, it's so good having you all.
Yeah.
And of course, Grandma, I'm always super happy of sharing space with you all. I hope that you've enjoyed this season 4 of Storytime with Grandma Coyote. And hopefully next year we'll have season 5.
That would be
That's
great.
the plan.
That would be great. I had a great time. We did so many different things, and I liked that.
Absolutely.
And because of some of the things that we did, different stories came out. I still have to bring out and tell, and maybe it'll be season 5 about the squirrel and the peanut butter and jelly sandwich. The story did come out of that same night it came out.
Absolutely.
But yeah, it was great. I really enjoyed it. Such a great time.
We love hearing those stories.
Yeah, we look forward to them.
You look forward to them.
Well, if I may,
Go right ahead.
here we go with turquoise. In the Southwest, blue coyote, because he's blue, he's not gray like we see him now. Blue coyote, he was walking around as usual, getting himself in trouble, and he's got that nose for trouble. So as he's walking around the canyons, he spots a hole. It's a badger hole. So he sticks his nose in it, gets bit off. So he gets back. But that didn't stop him. So he goes around looking some more, and then he sees red-headed woodpecker. Oh, he wants to have red hair too. So foolish Coyote decides put a fire on his head. Well, all he did was start burning his scalp, and he had to put it out. But that still didn't stop him. So he goes walking around and through the canyons, and he sees Snake. Now, Snake, he should know better, but it's Coyote. So he goes over there and starts messing with Snake, and next thing you know, Snake is coiled all around him, looking straight at him. He's looking at her, and Snake just looks at him and says, "Leave me alone." Doesn't say a thing. The Snake goes off. Well, he's still walking around, and he comes to where the earth is meeting the sky, and he hears singing. And he hears laughing. Oh, he can't stand it. He's got to go find out what's all this going on. So yeah, he starts to climb up, and there on top of the mesa is a flock of crows. And they're singing and they're dancing, and oh, he's looking at them, and oh, he wants to be part of that, to sing. And he asked them, "Can I sing? Can I dance?" They said, "Yeah, sure." So they have this little song. They go, "Yeah, hey, 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 hey." Well, Coyote is like, "Hey, hey, 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 hey," and every which way, but oh, he's having such a good time. And Old Man Crow looks at him. He says, "Are you sure this is what you want to do?" "Oh, yes, yes." And right then, the crows all take off, and they glide and fly around the canyon. And Coyote, "Hey, come back, guys, come back. I want to dance. I want to sing. I want to fly." So they come back down, and the Old Man Crow looks up at him. He says, "Well, you can dance, but I don't know about flying." "Oh, yes, I want to fly. I want to fly." So Old Man Crow gives the flock a signal, and they all start pulling feathers from their left wing and starts poking into Coyote's left arm. "Ouch! Ooh, ah." He says, "And then let's sing and dance." So here they go again through that singing and dancing, and the crows take off, and Coyote takes off, but he's off balance. He's lopsided because all the feathers are on his left side. And so before you know, all the way down. So all the crows, they come back down and sit there and giggling and laughing. And he says, I want to, but I can't I can't fly with you. I'm off balance and that. Can't you do something?" Old Man Crow looks at the other flock and pulls out from the right side and starts poking him on his right wing. And ouch, ouch, but he's happy. Now he's going to be balanced. So again, he starts, "I am perfect. Now I am perfect. I'm better than y'all are. I'm better than you are." And the crows look at him and say, "Mm-mm. No, he's getting too full of himself." So they take off and they start, "Hey, hey, 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 hey." And here he is again, all crooked and every which way. And they take off and start flying. And here he goes up there and he's flying. But he still can't catch up with them because they have wings. He only has feathers. And so he yells, "Hey, come back, come back. I'm looking even better than you, but come back. You need to help me." And it's really bragging. So the Old Man Crow gives them the signal. And the crows start taking their feathers back, one by one, by one, by one. And next thing you know, here comes Coyote. Although he's coming down so fast that his tail catches on fire. And on top of the mesa, there's a pool of water, and he lands in the water. And the crows, they just fly off laughing and laughing and laughing. And Coyote crawls out of there, and he is so mad, he starts to chase them. And as he's starting to chase them, he stumbles, and he rolls down and rolls down and rolls down. He gets all full of dust. He is so angry because he was all wet and all. So today, when you see Coyote, Blue Coyote, he's not blue anymore. Now he is gray. He still has a nose for trouble. He still can't dance. He still can't sing. And trouble, well, he'll always find it. Because he had that good nose for that. And this is the story. Everybody should try to get this book. Artwork in it is beautiful. I love sometimes just for the artwork. But this is a good book. This is a good, interesting story. So if y'all can get it, you'll have so much fun with it. So it's called Coyote, A Trickster's Tale from the American Southwest by Gerald McDermott. Oh, thank you.
Beautiful.
So that was such a fun story. It's lovely.
I know. And I thought it was perfect because of what we were doing and the turquoise. You see what he looked like?
Where's the accident? Well, that's about it for our day together. Thank you all again so much for spending time with us this afternoon and making today's conversation so special. I really hope that you'll come back maybe next season and you'll do another episode with us. Y'all have so much talent that we've got a lot to talk about.
We would love it.
Absolutely. And for all you friends out there in Facebook land, we'll see you next time. Of course, follow us on all of our social media platforms, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. We've got it all. But until next time, we hope you're doing well. Adios.
Bye.
Bye, friends.
Thank you for watching this season of Storytime with Grandma Coyote. Don't forget to follow us on our social media platforms like Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Goodbye for now, and we'll see you next season.